We've got a really neat thing set up for you here tonight. We've got 3 women who are here tonight who we are calling our Wonder Women of Waukesha. Okay, our first one, I'm going to read a little bit of a mission statement. It is the executive director of the Donna Lexa Art Center in downtown Waukesha. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to read you the mission of Donna Lexa Art Centers if you're not familiar with it. The mission of Donna Lexa Art Centers is to promote creativity, dignity, and community for people with special needs through visual art. Donna Lexa Art Centers provides life-enriching creative opportunities for teens and adults with special needs due to developmental delays, physical impairment such as stroke and cognitive processing such as a traumatic brain injury, dementia, and Alzheimer's disease. As a community art center, Donna Lexa uses the creative process for developing self-identity, promoting independent activity and life skills, and coping with life changes. It supports the therapeutic use of art materials and development of the individual's artist identity. Let's welcome to the stage Rosemary Pierson, the executive director. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Have a seat. Have a seat. So Rosemary, we read your mission, and it's really a dynamic thing that you do. Tell us a little bit about where you've come from and what you've been doing all these years before you got to Donna Lexa.
Well, I have a very...
Wait, excuse me, Ken? Does Ken have the microphone? I'm sorry. That was the one thing I forgot. Thank you, Ken. Welcome. It's for you. I got my own. You're on the hot seat now.
I am, yes. I have a real diverse background, so this is about my 3rd career.
Okay.
Started many hundreds of years ago working with Fortune 100 and 500 companies. But I came to know about Donna Lexa when I was an instructor at Alberta College, and a number of my students did their field internships in the art therapy program at 2 of the 3 Donna Lexa centers.
Okay. And
after I was done with working for Fortune 100 and 500 companies, I decided to go back and find my own artist identity.
Okay.
And that's what eventually led me to be an art therapist.
Okay.
And Donna Lexa is the 3rd program that I'm working with.
Very good, very good. So tell us about what an average day is, or what you do, so that we can all understand what actually goes on in the buildings.
Every day is a real delight because there are so many changes that every one of our 200 students have been going through. And I was sharing with someone earlier this evening that about half of our students have been with the center for 20 and 25 years. And many of them knew Donna Lexa and took art lessons from Donna Lexa, and they wear that with a very big, proud badge of honor. And so I've had the pleasure of getting to know who Donna was in this community through the students. A typical day could be a real variety of students in a class who may be suffering with muscular dystrophy or cerebral palsy.
Okay.
And they might also have some students that have Down syndrome.
Okay.
And also some students that have been going through real cognitive changes as well as behavioral changes and physical changes.
Okay.
Can I share a favorite?
Absolutely, I'd love to hear it.
So oftentimes we might have 7 or 13 students in a classroom, but their work is very intensive as far as needing help. So we could have 13 students and 7 helpers and an instructor in the classroom. They get lots of one-on-one attention because they have to work hand over hand sometimes. So my favorite day so far, I've only been there 2 months, but my favorite day so far is a gentleman that has been with the center for 25 years and did do art with Donna. He has seen lots of changes in his own life. He needs a wheelchair to be mobile. He has one hand that he can only rest and push a wheelchair forward and turn with it. And his other hand He is missing his 4 digits, and he has a thumb and the palm of his hand. And he shared with me that all he ever wanted to do in life was be in the military.
Okay.
And so he has built an aircraft carrier, and he has built a airplane, and now we're working on a fort. Now, I forgot to mention that he's also deaf. So this gentleman has limited mobility, and it was one of my first days in the classroom getting to know all the students. And he asked if I could help him cut windows for his secret Army fort. And we were not cutting them out of like clear plastic paper, but actually he is very particular about his projects and wanted to cut them with a knife. And we were cutting into plexiglass. So it took me a bit to adjust to working with an interpreter and also being able to problem solve with him as to how he was going to be involved in this cutting process. So we did finally get to it. And we figured out that if I held the knife, he could pull the plexiglass and we could cut. So we did that, and I have to tell you that the class is 2 hours long.
Oh.
We cut 7 windows. Each side of the window took 3 cuts to get through the plexiglass. So we made 63 cuts in 120 minutes. That's less than 2 cuts a minute.
Wow. Yes, yes.
I mean, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
So ever since that day, I tell everyone I meet now, I will never complain about a headache. When I get up one day and I don't feel like going into my own art studio, there is no excuse. When someone can work with that determination.
Absolutely.
And feels as if he's enabled and not disabled.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful mission. Very good. Okay, well, Rosemary, I want to thank you for coming in and talking with us today, and you know, another hand for Rosemary for the great work that she does. Okay, thank you. Yeah, you one more thing. Here,
Yeah,
one more thing.
I met 2 people today that knew Donna. Could you just stand up quick? Did you say everybody who knew Donna?
Stand up if you knew Donna. Excellent, excellent.
Okay. Come say hi to me.
Well, thank you, Rosemary. Very nice, very nice. Our next Wonder Woman of Waukesha is the Executive Director of the Women's Center. I'm going to set that down, just talk out of this one. And I'm going to read you the Waukesha, or I should say, the Women's Center's mission. The mission of the Women's Center is to provide safety, shelter, and support to adults and children affected by domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, and trafficking. And our holistic programming emphasizes healing, empowerment, and justice so survivors may overcome their abuse and build peaceful futures for themselves and their families. Let's welcome Angela Mancuso, the Executive Director of the Women's Center. Good to see you.
Glad you're wearing a bracelet.
Yes. I'm going to give you that, Angela. Very good. So, Angela, you have some history that we need to talk about. Some of the places you've come from and things that you've done. Let's start there. This is your newest job, but what did you do before that?
Right, so I've been with the Women's Center for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, I was the director of Sojourner Truth House, which is a domestic violence program in Milwaukee, and I was there for 12 years.
Very good, very good. And I understand you got a little proclamation from the mayor of Milwaukee. Would you like to tell us about that? No? No? Well, then I will.
Parents and grandparents love.
I thought it was pretty cool. It was the Angela Mancuso Day in Milwaukee by Mayor Tom Barrett, declaring September 12, 2012 as that day for outstanding service to victims of domestic violence. Now, Angela, I'm just going to run through, because I don't expect you to remember all these numbers, but I'm going to just run through a little bit about what they do and who they service in our communities here. They have interacted with clients 19,244 times this year, with an average of 14 interactions per client. 93% of child sexual abuse survivors learned the abuse was not their fault through them. 85% of employment counseling clients created a job search plan through them. 76% of children's programming participants developed a safety plan or identified protective behaviors through their programming. 75% of sexual assault and abuse clients increased their coping skills, and 74% of transitional living clients could identify and attain their own personal goals. It also says that over the year they have given 159 community education sessions to the community, which touched 3,638 people. Tonight we're going to add one more, so we did 160, and we're going to bring that up to 3,823 people have seen these presentations. You have a lot going on to deal with there. Tell us what like your average day is and what that you expect. I mean, I'm sure no day is average.
I was just going to say that we don't have an average day, so we can have meetings and things in our calendar, but on any given day, no advocate or counselor really knows who's going to walk through our doors, what child, what mother, what father, what family will have experienced and been exposed to the trauma of sexual assault or domestic violence. And because we are crisis response, and we're also the great crisis response for Waukesha County, so really nobody knows on any given day how many calls, how many clients, and what we will do.
And it says that they account for 70% of the homeless beds for women in our county through Waukesha's Women's Center.
We're the largest shelter. We have the largest amount of beds for women. And we are considered a homeless shelter because a woman is considered homeless by federal government definitions the minute she has to flee because of domestic violence.
A couple more little facts I just wanted to throw out that are just amazing. Provided 8,749 nights of care, 26,247 healthy meals to 308 adults and children in the emergency shelter in a year. That's amazing. Responded to 8,461 calls through their 24-hour hotline, which is a 15% increase over the prior year. What is that telling you? Is that your advocacy is being more well known, or is the problem rising? Are we having more issues?
It's not because we're more well known, it's because there's more violence in our community. And what we're trying really hard to do is get our hotline number out there so that people will call us. We know that for every one phone call, for every one call into our hotline, there's 2 individuals who are being abused who are not getting help. So we really want to raise the awareness, but we know that because we track where the calls and what's going on, that it's not necessarily because of awareness.
Right.
But if everybody has their bracelet, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it was in the bag.
Some of them, yep, there's little pins,
Yep,
and
that will help us.
many of those went out today. I also wanted to say that you had a 14% increase in shelter requests through July, and you provided domestic violence and sexual assault abuse programming to 1,076 participants. So you've really got your hands full with a lot of different issues that you have to try to work through.
Right, we do. And
Yeah.
we're the only agency in Waukesha County that does this work, what we do.
So there's a pamphlet in your bags that you should read through, and you'll learn more about their programming, and it's just a great asset that the city of Waukesha and our county has got that we just can't overlook. It's a wonderful thing. So I want to thank you for coming in today, Angela. Very good. And we have one more, Wonder Woman of Waukesha. And I'm going to read you what the mission of the city government of Mayor of Waukesha is. The mayor is the chief executive of the community, budgeting, recruiting, and retaining business for our city, overseeing all city services, departments, conduct common council meetings, and implementing official actions that taken by that body, and represent the community at all government meetings and overseeing emergency government needs. We'd like to welcome former Mayor Carole Lombardi.
Hi,
Woo! Have a seat.
I need a microphone.
Yes, you do. Okay, we had this discussion before you came out. I said, we have a big hook over here, and her chair's on wheels. I said, if you feel yourself rolling, lift your feet because you're being dragged off. Okay?
Unaccustomed as I am to speaking in public, I think I can handle this.
I think you can handle me.
Where do you want to start?
We want to start with where you started with the school systems and the things that you did for them.
Okay, first of all, I would tell you, seriously speaking, my 81-year-old body thanks God that I can still be here every day in a community that I truly love. And secondly, it's not that I'm wonderful, but it's that I've been able to be in a community that has given me the opportunity to touch as many lives as I can, no matter what your age may be. And I had thought when I was very young, I loved school, and I was always the teacher's pet, too. I don't know if you can figure that out.
Yeah.
But I thought I had wanted to be an elementary teacher, but I came from a family, I lived on a farm. You might see my little picture on the screen here with my barn and everything. There I am. And when I came to Waukesha in second grade, I thought I really wanted to be a teacher, but my parents did not have the money to send me to college. So I took the business classes at Waukesha High School, and for some reason, the then mayor of the city of Waukesha, who was the founder of Waukesha Foundry, called the superintendent of schools and said, is there a student in the senior high school that knows shorthand? Many of you might still know what that may be. Who might also be looking for a career to start in government. And believe it or not, I was secretary to the mayor for 6 years. And at that time, John Kennedy was running for the president of the United States. And little Bobby Kennedy and Carole Christopherson at that time. We had two different, very healthy discussions during that time. But because I, again, was able then to marry my dear husband, who was my high school sweetheart, who then was drafted for a couple of years in Korea, I kept working. But then all of a sudden he came home and I had 3 sons in 4 years. Okay? My youngest son, as he was getting ready to go to kindergarten, that same superintendent of schools that had taken me to see the mayor, called me up. He said, Carole, what are you doing? Are you done birthing babies? I said, yes. We are creating 4 first grade reading aid jobs in the school district of Waukesha, and I want you to come in and apply for one of those jobs. I did that. I got that. I was trained by one of the professors from the University of Minnesota, and I actually became a first grade reading aid for 5 years.
Very good.
Then all of a sudden, the principal at South High School, whose name was Bob Duckett, tripped me somewhere and said, Carole, we're creating positions called guidance counselor aides, and I think you should come and apply for one of those. I became a guidance counselor aide at Waukesha South High School. I did that for 7 years, and some of those senior kind of students were the ones that elected me to be mayor in the next like 25 years, I think. But I had opportunities, you guys, working with the students that gave me a feeling that I didn't need that college degree, but I needed to know what I was doing, but I needed to know what the students needed.
Mm-hmm.
I then all of a sudden got an invitation in the mail that I should apply for a position to become the administrative assistant to the superintendent of schools, the election clerk, blah, blah, which I did that then for 12 years. Then I decided I was going to retire, but I felt that because I had been in that mayor's office in my young years, but I also knew that Waukesha City is the county seat. Waukesha City not only has the most population, we have the most affordable housing. And we certainly have also got the most variety of population, understanding, again, all the social service agencies, all these wonderful, again, agencies that help people are here in this community. A couple of people said, why don't you run for mayor? And I usually would wash the kitchen floor on my knees on Saturdays, and I started praying on Saturdays. Should I or shouldn't I? And I declared myself, and at the same time there was 3 other people, and I was in a primary, and I beat the incumbent as well as the other guys. Who else? But it wasn't because I was such a smart aleck, but it was because I again had acquired so many different people, personalities in my life. That's me when I got a new jacket one time. To share with you that the opportunity, can talk for a long time. The opportunity to come into that mayor's office and the people, again, as I just mentioned a few names, the contact, I had a couple of people call me up from both Madison legislature, Carole and Marty, and I don't belong to any political party, my darlings, okay, and I believe in local government. We certainly have state, we have federal, but local is where the action is. Why don't you run for state legislature? And I said, I'm not going to even look at that. This is my community, this is where I should be. But to then comprehend that as I decided in the year 2000, my darlings, when we saw the declaration for the new millennium, I was in the Waukesha County jail basement for 4 hours at midnight, December 31, until 4 a.m. January 1, and you guys are too young to even know, but we thought the world was going to end with technology.
So you chose to be in the basement of the jail?
I was in the basement of the Waukesha County Jail with a couple of other, quote, chief executives, because we had just put into an effect also an emergency management plan, which there's so many wonderful things that happened during the time that I sat in that mayor's office those 8 years. And it's not because I was wonderful, but because there were wonderful people working for the city. But to comprehend, the world did not end, and technology continued on January 1, 2000.
Amen. Carole shared with me what she feels her two biggest accomplishments were when she was mayor. The first one was returning trick or treat to actually the 31st of October. Halloween, yes. Okay. Bring it back.
And you can't believe, you can probably, but all of the television stations, all the calls I got from radio people, Mayor Lombardi, are you really going to have a proclamation that students can come out at night and knock on someone's door?
On a Wednesday night?
And even a Saturday.
Oh my Lord.
But then just a little PS, a few years after I left the office, I met a woman that I'd never met before, and she was at a different meeting, and she turned around, she said, "You're Carole Lombardi, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, I hate you." I said, you hate me? I said, "I don't even know you. You brought trick or treat back to Halloween night. My daughter works in Milwaukee, and she can't get home to get her kids out to knock on somebody's door at that time." And I said, "Well, then get a neighborhood something and do it still on Sunday." But yeah, but really, I got more, and I didn't do it for publicity. No, I did it because it was pretty stupid to be knocking on somebody's door on Sunday afternoon when the Green Bay Packers, which coach Lombardi was, and answer the door. And remember also, Lombardis are all winners, so don't ever.
Yeah.
But do you want us to tell them?
Yeah, the other thing, I'll tell them the other thing. The other thing was she returned the streets, got rid of the one-way streets in downtown Waukesha. Get that spring house out of my road.
And my dear friends, it wasn't because of me, it was my idea and contacting the people that certainly not only had the legislative authority, but the Hulsmans were gracious enough to contribute $40,000 to get that spring house out of downtown where it should be. But then the only other thing too, and then I'll get into touching lives as a teacher at the very end.
Reader's Digest version. Reader's Digest version here, okay?
Understanding that also when I came into office, my friends, this community still allowed people to go downtown, sit on benches and drink alcohol, okay? And that was extremely disturbing. Not appropriate. And also I come from a family, my darling father was alcoholic, so I know the trauma with alcoholism. And so I put every effort forward to, and I did get the 15 members of the Common Council to certainly endorse a new ordinance that does not allow public consumption of alcohol downtown. I also then went to a couple of parks where men and some women were sitting around drinking. And by that time, Waukesha County had also put a social worker downtown Waukesha, and that social worker and the old lady would go up and tell people, if you would like to try to get to treatment, we have a squad right now that will drive you up to Waukesha. No, seriously speaking, you guys. And there was about 3 different people, and there was one man, and I don't even remember what he looks like, but I would tell you, 6 years as I was leaving office, he came to my office, and he thanked me for having him have confidence to get started to beat that terrible disease.
Yep.
All right, now, so now I got out of office at 70 years old. It was more than, whatever. And that's 11 years ago.
Your 7 minutes was up 7 minutes ago.
And I'm just going to say, the ending then I got very involved with interfaith senior programs, serving people, again, who are 65 and over, or people who have needs. And part of their programming is to go into classrooms to work with teachers. Oh, I just had that picture, I forgot about, those are my pen pal guys, which again, part of our interfaith program was again the pen pal, and you know one of your kids even coordinates it.
Yeah.
And the other thing was that, again, if you would want to do any reading tutoring, so I started all over again like I did when I went to Nashville.
Right from the start.
And I would just share with you that I was over at Horning Middle School, and I had a lot of students. But one of my last students I had was a young girl who had been moved here from Arizona as she witnessed her father murdering her mother. And the children, she and a sister, were taken, of course, from the family, sent here to Waukesha to live with grandparents. And the grandparents, after a few weeks, felt they couldn't have those girls. So they were both in foster homes. And when I met this student, and the opportunity I had to help her 1 year with her reading and to hear the trauma, I never thought that in Waukesha, Wisconsin, that I would be able to be having contact with a child, a 7th grade girl that had that. All right, so anyway, all of our programs then with interfaith, and there is now we've got reach out to that older population. Not only am I part of that, but Waukesha County has the second highest level of 65 and over population, and that's because we have so many wonderful services that are in this program. Did you want me to say anything else?
Well, we're just going to... I just want to mention that every March we have the Festival of Flowers at Waukesha Flowers. Anybody ever been to the Festival of Flowers?
Oh yeah, that's right, I forgot that.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about it. Just hang in there. Mayor Carole started the Festival of Flowers at Waukesha Floral along with Midge McDermott, who I believe she's back there somewhere. And what that is a fundraiser for what was called Interfaith Senior Programs and is now called ERA's Senior Network. They've changed their name. And we have a luncheon in here at the dead of winter. It's usually a really day. It's gray. But we have a beautiful ladies' luncheon in here. We do a little presentation up here with some flowers and stuff, and the ladies just have a gas, and we just laugh and everything. And you have sold it out so many times. I mean, we've done it for, I don't even know how many years, 7, 8 years now, 6, 8 years?
Sandy's here, Sandy Ammerman's
Sandy would know.
Right.
Yeah. About that. And so there's a card in your thing. I know the church ladies here have all been here for that. So save the date for that. It's a really fun event.
It's done during Lent, my darling, a couple weeks before Easter. Don't forget that, because that's you've got all the beautiful flowers that are.
That's true. But we can still have wine in the evening, can't we, at the event?
I don't go to that one, but I suppose so.
She doesn't go to that one. Well, what else can we say on that? Thank you for a lifetime of service to this community and changing our community. So thank you. And we want to thank all of our Wonder Women, Rosemary Pierson of Donna, Lexa, Angela Mancuso of the Women's Center, and of course, Mayor Carole Lombardi. We are going to ask ladies to leave the stage, and they will be back in a moment to do something fun with us. Thank you, ladies. We are just going to do a little stage reset, and Mayor Carole, that we might have a ringer in the audience here because Rosemary is a professional artiste.
Yes.
And she's got that, artiste thing going. So we're going to give you maybe 5 minutes, maybe, we'll see how this goes, to use the flowers that are in your bucket to recreate, John, what is right here on this podium. Carole, do you need me to bring it up a little closer?
No, I put my glasses on.
Are you good?
So
It's on the big screen if you need it, Carole. Okay. So, are you ladies ready? She's stretching. Wait a minute, I think we have the wrong ringer here. Yep. So, Mayor Carole, we don't touch until we say.
I want to be sure they're real.
They're real. Everything's real, okay? So you've got the flowers to create that in a bucket beneath you there. We've got safety scissors. There are no knives involved up here. So, Hannah, if you would start our countdown clock. Ladies, 1, 2, 3, go. What? She's taking it all apart. Oh, she's got technique, people. She's got technique. Look at this. That didn't work so well for you, did it, Mayor Carole?
No, it didn't.
No.
Okay.
Look at that.
I started it.
Rosemary is going straight for the carnations. She's going to get that triangle of carnations. See, this is...
Carnation. How can you work with that?
Oh, well, we had to throw a little something into... So really, you're going to go with a whole bunch of those in one big stem like that, huh?
I don't want a job. I love it.
Do you? Do you have cataracts?
I just encourage you.
Oh, encouragement. She's just giving out encouragement. John, get this on because the cheap seats in the back got to see this. Yeah, let's just cut them all in one fell swoop there, Mayor Carole. Yeah. And Angela is, wow, she's just shoving them in. Keep going, ladies. Now look at the symmetry and the beauty and the glory of this. I'm talking to you, Angela. Look at the symmetry and the beauty. Oh, I don't have time for that. Little attitude happening over here. Look at, if you'll everybody just get a little tight shot on Rosemary over here. Yeah, well, no, Rosemary, a little more cutting on those, Rosemary. Nice, very good. You know, when you learn floral design, they always say wash behind your ears. So you need to get a little something back under here, you know, a little bit. Like, you could probably cut that down a little bit, but yeah, she is. Hey, she's done her own thing here for how many years? 81 years? Is that what you're telling us? I'm not telling her nothing new today, that's for sure. Well, we're doing well, ladies. How much time do we have?
A few more minutes. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, we got a couple more minutes. Is everybody having a good time?
Yeah.
Are your butts hurting by now? Yeah. We're almost there. We got a couple more fun little things for you, and then we'll let you go. Not handfuls at a time, Angela. One stem at a time.
No, it's more fun handfuls.
Okay, more fun handfuls. Rosemary, how you feeling down there? Hurried. Okay. She's putting a little leucadendron in there, a little tropical flower from Hawaii. Very nice. Don't look at the competition. You'll feel better about yourself.
She said she gets nervous.
Feel free to look over here, though. Angela, feel free to look over here. Look to your right, never to your left. Woo! Ms. Mancuso has run out of flowers in her. Oh, this is the final minute. I hear Flight of the Bumblebee. They're heading in. Oh, Lord. Oh, now they're picking up stuff on the ground. Mayor Carole, you've got a few things left there. And we're down to the final seconds, folks. Here we go. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step away from the table. Nice job, ladies. Mayor Carole, I can say that it was probably the first time you had to arrange flowers on stage.
I think so.
I think so. Beautiful symmetry, beautiful arrangement. Well, not on that side, excuse me. Wait a minute, from this angle, it's a beautiful, beautiful arrangement. Oh, beauty in bloom, we're going to call this one. Look at that, look at the clustering. Look at that. She's clustered her flowers together, which is a really hot style. And then there's little Miss Artist over here. Let's get some sunlight on this. Beautiful symmetry, look at that. Lovely, well, not right from that side. Beautiful, beautiful. So let's take a little vote here, ladies. Yeah, yes, we have to. Applaud for Rosemary. How about for Angela Mancuso? Mayor Carole Lombardi. Can you see this arrangement? Yes, Mayor Carole Lombardi. I think it was pretty much a tie. Wonder Women of Waukesha, we thank you for your service to the county and city of Waukesha. Please take your flowers and leave my stage. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm actually a second generation. Yeah, well, you know. She gave me a proclamation back in 2004 naming Waukesha Floral Day for the 100th anniversary. Yeah. I said, well, Mayor Carole, I inherited this 100th anniversary. I can't make it go out now, so we have to keep going. But we would like to give each of our Wonder Women of Waukesha a little something in honor of their yeah, so hold up your checks, we'll get a little picture. So we just want to help out with your missions. And Mayor Carole, that's not for you, that's actually for eras, okay? Oh, okay. Very good. Thank you, ladies. Grab your flowers. Thank you for playing with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Waukesha Floral and Greenhouse. Fresh, fun, fabulous.